at 3, 1, 2. Victor over here rolling some music, my right-hand man. Oh my gosh, it is time. Welcome back. It is the best hour in the world. Oh, my fans, it's wonderful. We are here high above Bear Stadium. What are we doing? We are the Slam Antonio Radio Network. We're back on Slam Radio, Sirius XM, channel 145. We are so happy that you're joining us, and I have some special guests today, a special topic to discuss. It's that time of year, and we're going to break this thing down. We're going into definition, causes, expansions. We are going to uncover the truth about what? It is senior-itis. We've got approximately, 7 or 8 weeks left in school. I'm joined by 3 of the most intelligent seniors on this campus. This is fact verified. Over on the far left, and you're right if you're watching us, we've got Lily Salazar.
Hi, guys.
Welcome, Lily. And to my left, you're right, we've got Isaac Vargas, my old bro.
Howdy.
Isaac, thank you for joining. And Victor is over here to my right, to your left. Victor, hello. Thank you so much for joining us today. As we said, our topic of the day is senior-itis, and we're going to break this thing down. Lily, help us unravel what is senior-itis. What is this phenomenon?
Okay, so by definition, senior-itis is a typically temporary decline of motivation, focus, and basically everything that you need in high school to be successful in your assignments. So this isn't just in high school, however. This is mostly towards seniors and those that are near graduation.
Okay, so this could apply to other folks, not just seniors in high school.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's a lack of motivation.
Yes.
Does that also include a lack of attendance?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It can mean that.
Okay. Isaac, what does this mean to you? I mean, are you seeing this kind of around campus? Obviously, well, let me just say we're here at Somerset Academy Collegiate in Slam Antonio, Texas, giving you guys a little taste of Texas culture. And we're breaking this down. As I said, we've got about 7 or 8 weeks of school. This is a very big topic that's happening here on campus, right? Isaac, what are your thoughts on senior-itis?
My personal thoughts on senior-itis is, to me, I think it's just a lame excuse to be lazy. That's just how I see it. I never really had a full senior year, transition from junior to senior during October. And so I guess just changing that environment, being around people that have senior-itis or that may develop senior-itis, it kind of just changed how I see it, because I thought it was just a way to slack off and do nothing. But, I mean, when you look at the environment that is built around senior-itis, when you see that there's maybe a lack of goals, a lack of interest, I guess that it's opened my eyes a little bit more on how senior-itis can be perceived as, like, not just being lazy, but just there is a sincere lack of motivation from either peers, teachers, or, you know, even from yourself, even in family, you know?
Yeah, you brought up a really interesting point, Isaac. So you transitioned from a junior to a senior in October? How on earth did that happen? We just got a comment on this. Like, that's incredible.
Well, to sum it up, I was joking around with my advisor, Coach Washington, and we went through the logistics, and he just told me that, well, if I want to do it, I can do it. And so it was through that where I just took the jump.
So you took the jump. It's not like you skipped a grade, but you graduated early from being a junior. That's incredible, Isaac. Congratulations. Victor, tell us what your experience is with senior-itis. What do you see around campus? Why does this matter to you? I can tell you guys are all very sincere. We've got the whiteboard, again, all filled out. We've got a lot of information. Victor, why are you passionate about this?
No, for sure. I definitely see a lot of senior-itis, around campus, with people not being motivated to finish their schoolwork or just not putting in their effort that they used to put in classrooms. And, I will say that I do understand it because I have felt it before, but that doesn't necessarily mean I let it get to me, I've always cared about my grades throughout all of high school. But I do understand why people let it get to them, I mean, we're near graduation. A lot of the stuff we do, we are already committed to a college, most people.
Yeah.
Some people are not going to college. That's another factor. But I think people need to understand that these habits, follow you outside of high school, especially into college. If you're not going to college, whatever job you're going to work at, your work ethic, I think, is very important. And to build these healthy habits is important. No matter, despite how far graduation is, you still need to care about what you do in school or whatever you're doing in life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're one of the top classmen here. Is that so?
Number 3, yes.
Number 3. Congratulations, Victor. That's absolutely stunning. That's incredible. So let's go with this for a minute. Like this concept or this diagnosis of senioritis is not just local. Lily, you alluded to this earlier. Mm-hmm. How do you see this possibly potentially manifesting in lower classmen or even adults for that matter?
So when it comes to senioritis, there's just an overall general lack of motivation. So it doesn't matter what age group you're in. Little kids especially, it's very hard to maintain motivation because there's many things that come into play, like whether or not, for example, your teacher teaches it in a way to where you are excited to learn about it. With adults in particular, the closer you get to graduation, there's almost a sense of fear about your future.
Wow, that's deep. Yeah, so is it a little bit of self-sabotage?
Of course, yes.
Maybe the fear of the future. We don't know what's coming next. We know it's a big change. So I'm going to kind of shut down because I'm scared of what may be coming.
Yes.
See, that's probably the root. That's deep. I love that. Isaac, what are your thoughts on that?
I personally think that whenever it comes to specific age groups experiencing senioritis, I think it's definitely real.
It's real.
Lily mentioned it perfectly about when you're younger, it's a lot harder to stay motivated, and that even applies to when you get older too. I mean, think about your grandparents, right? They live their life, they've experienced everything they can to experience, and so that's why you see a lot of elderly folks, just having that lack of motivation it's sad, but to keep on living, right? Mm-hmm. And it also applies to even people that are on the working age. Mid 40s, 50s. I mean, when you've been doing the same thing, if you're in the same career path, it's just a repetitive cycle day in, day out, decades upon decades, right? I mean, it gets old, it gets tiring. And so I think that you need to do something to change that mindset and to not only find a way to keep your brain learning and interactive, but just to have that habit, as Victor said, just from a young age, just build the habit of constantly trying to be ethical and constantly trying to be working at something new, not just doing the same thing over and over.
Wow, that's a really profound point. Keep expanding, keep changing things up so that life is interesting. Keep learning so that you don't fall into a repetitive rut. I think that's classic. What do you think about that, Victor?
I definitely agree with what Isaac said about building new habits and to just keep your brain active. But I do think that, people do fall into slumps, but that doesn't really mean it's over. People always, if you work hard, people are always going to experience times where they just, feel lack of motivation because they've been doing, some type of work for so long. But it's just a matter of trying to find something new and a new motivation that can keep you going.
Yeah, speaking of which, Lily and I particularly share a passion in music. And the first thing that I think of with expanding and keeping things fresh, I think of music. And Lily is a brilliant saxophone player. First chair, correct?
Yes, thank you.
First chair saxophone player in our band program here at Somerset Academy Collegiate. Let's go with extracurriculars before we jump into our next topic, or I should say our next tier on the old outline up here. Lily, do you feel like your involvement with music, practicing music after hours, do you feel like that helps inspire, to keep things new for you, to inspire you to want to come to school and apply yourself to academics?
Yes, of course. Honestly, I love music, and if I get the chance to practice it outside of school and perfect it, and then I come to class and I know it, it's so awesome to help my section especially work on their music. And honestly, my favorite part about knowing my music and working hard to get there is being able to harmonize with everyone else.
Oh,
yeah, that feeling motivates me so much.
Wow, that is awesome. And Isaac, you are also a big star athlete here.
I do play football, yes.
Yes.
I don't know about star, but...
Well, you're a star to me. What do you think about your extracurricular activities such as football? Do you think that encourages academics for you? Does it change it up? Does it inspire you to want to show up and do well in class so far as you have done amazingly at?
I definitely think that at least at this school it does, because there is a no pass, no play policy.
Oh.
And so I don't know if other schools have that around the world, but it is definitely a motivator to be good in academics, because, I mean, I don't want to do bad in school and not see any playing time, right? And so just having that motivation not only to get a good grade, but to excel in the sport that I love, I mean, that's definitely one of the biggest motivators that I carry throughout academics and through sports.
Yeah, and Victor, how about you? What kind of extracurriculars are you involved in? Are you gaming? Did you do esports?
That is,
but you did some athletics too,
I have
right?
been doing this year, but yeah, I have been doing athletics. I did track and field since freshman year, but I did quit this year. I mean, maybe you can blame that on senioritis.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. We need to social distance from you, Victor.
Maybe. I did basketball for a bit too. That was, I think, junior year. I did that too. That was pretty fun. And then I do like clubs outside of school too.
You do. And you feel like that helps keep school fresh for you? And
Yes.
that is cool. That is cool. So what are some of the other things we have on our whiteboard here? We have some causes. Is that your department, Isaac?
Yes, I was the one that created that list with help, of course.
You know, one thing that's really interesting to me is you put nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
Now, nostalgia, some people view it as just like a remembrance, things to look back on. But that can be harmful in a way, because when you spend all your time looking back at something, you don't really focus on what's in front of you. And that can lead to poor habits, such as, you know, overlooking an assignment you need to do or not getting enough sleep. You know, if you look too much back on junior year, on senior, or not senior year, on sophomore year, middle school, elementary, you fail to see that you have better things ahead, and you don't really put that effort once you think too much on the back. And so nostalgia is a big way that you kind of distract yourself from looking at what's in front.
Yeah. It seems like that's another like fear of the unknown symptom. It's like I'm fearing what's in front of me, so I'm going to focus on the past.
Yep.
Interesting. What's one of these symptoms, these causes, Victor, that you've really seen in real life here at Somerset with some of maybe your fellow students?
I think I've seen a lot of anxiety
Ooh.
and poor classroom engagement. A lot of people, I mean, like we were saying earlier, you know, just fear of the unknown and the future. People have anxiety about that, and they don't really know how to act on it. So what they do is they don't do anything about it. They don't do their classwork. They don't engage in the classrooms. It's bad.
Yeah, yeah. So we've kind of laid it out, right? What it is and what are some of the symptoms. I guess let's go into solution mode, right? How can we manage this? How can we, as you guys say, how can we battle this? What are some of the things that we can do? Who'd like to talk on that?
I'll go ahead.
Lily.
Yeah. So, one thing that you can do, of course, is build healthy habits. We'll always support that. Us three in particular, we do this one or two things actually every morning for dual credit, and we do brain games. So by doing these little brain games, they almost activate like our brain's reward system. So even if we get like a tiny little win in the morning, it motivates us to complete our schoolwork.
Yep.
So that's
What are some of these brain games? I'm curious.
So they are the New York Times Connections and Wordle.
Oh, wow. That is really interesting. Like you said, the reward system, perhaps that's relating to dopamine. And just getting a win in the morning inspires you to want to keep winning, right?
Yeah.
So create wins first thing in the morning. What are some other healthy habits, guys?
I think one for sure is to just set a desired goal. I mean, when you just write out what you want in life, you obviously have to write out how you're going to get it. I think it's really important to have a goal that you want to get. Like, for example, one of my biggest things is I want to get a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering.
Oh.
And so just having that goal in mind, I want to do everything I can to get that goal. And so that's what keeps me motivated, especially through school, you know, all the assignments, all the schoolwork. And then also just having that mindset where you don't want to like limit yourself to a grade. You know, one bad grade isn't going to be the end of it. You know, me and Victor were talking earlier, you know, he made a great point that whenever you get grades, I mean, you're going to realize eventually that it's not going to be your life in 10 years. That
Right.
the number you get on a report card isn't necessarily going to define how successful you are in life.
Right.
And so just having that goal, while also doing what you can to achieve that goal, and then setting even more goals upon that. Sorry, I'm repeating a lot of words, but when you set even
it's
more
good.
goals upon that, it just gives you a reason to keep doing everything at the best of your ability.
Wow, this discussion is so much deeper than just senioritis, and I love how broadly you guys are taking this. And that, one thing you said, Isaac, that really sticks out to me is, correct me if I'm wrong, goal setting is important. Thinking big and visualizing where you want to go, but not just that. It's actually creating the steps on how to get there. A detail, is that fair to say? I think that's speaking to me. Victor, what do you think? What are some ways to battle senioritis? What are some things, let's put it this way. What are some things that you could put forth that may encourage students here, students all around the globe, to be inspired, finish strong, and to mitigate these symptoms when they start to pop up?
Yeah, I think students need to start viewing school more than just grades, because it's not just grades. School is a place where you can start to build, habits you're gonna, live with your entire life. If you just focus on getting the grade, you're not learning anything, right?
That's good.
And you're not gonna build anything that useful in life. So when you look at school that way, it kind of changes your mindset to like, okay, I don't need, a good grade. I need to finish these assignments in a way that's, ethical, and I can build habits in my future. And I do like what Isaac said about building, healthy habits. For me personally, I want to go to medical school.
Oh my goodness.
And I know that requires a lot of, rigorous coursework and all that stuff. And, I want to start now. I've been starting, and I want to keep building on these habits and try to suppress, senioritis.
Yeah. And speaking of healthy habits, you guys are so amazing. You guys are not particularly, you used to be audio video, and then you left us to become a senior. But I think we should develop a healthy habit that you guys are constantly on this radio show. You guys are amazing. Let's go to expansions before we wrap this up. And we've been kind of alluding to this, right, Lily? That this isn't just a phenomenon that's limited to high school seniors. And we've been carving a path that is making this applicable to just about everybody, right?
Yeah.
What are some thoughts on expansions? And you even have something that I think is really fascinating about relationships. So is it possible to possibly see some symptoms of senioritis even within our personal relationships?
Yes. Going back to, I believe, what Isaac said, like whenever you do something repetitively, like you do the same thing over and over and over again, like you'll become lazy over time. Sure, it happens, but it's just really important, especially as you have these connections with individuals, that you always make an effort to put some of that oomph back in, Yeah.
Oomph. Yeah, so be creative, change things up, keep it fresh, is what I'm hearing. Isaac, what are you thinking about expansions here? Anything come to mind?
Yes, I think that it can also tie in to a lot of real life disorders.
Oh.
Especially with a lot of psychological disorders like depression. I think that one of the main things about not only senioritis but just motivation is being aware of it, being aware of what you lack. And so if you're able to be aware of something as simple as senioritis, I think that, if you try your hardest to be aware of other things you may have, such as depression, like if you're aware that you're feeling sad, if you're aware that you get angry, just things like that can just help you get through those times. And that also ties into something else I've written on the board is being connected with peers that help counteract that.
See, that's got to be huge. Now, we joke around about it being an itis and potentially contagious, right? That's kind of a funny joke, but it's actually very real, who we surround ourselves with. I'm glad you're talking about that. Victor, how about you? Do you find that your friend groups really impact your attitude towards school, and how do you mitigate that? How do you navigate that?
No, for sure. I like to surround myself with people that have a similar work ethic to mine. It just builds a healthy circle. And I do want to go back to talking about relationships because, having bad habits can affect a lot of your relationships, Like Isaac was saying, you can develop depression, anger issues, and that can, mitigate onto your personal relationships, and it can affect those. And, that could just be really unhealthy. And I think if people think about those consequences, it can act as a motivation to not, fall into senioritis.
Yeah, who we hang out with is so important. That's why I'm really excited to hang out with y'all. You guys are truly some of the most exemplary students on this campus, and I mean that. And I'm just super honored to get to spend this time with you. What else do we want to talk about, Lily? What are some other thoughts to kind of wrap this thing up?
Honestly, I would just say, to wrap this up, I would definitely try to keep yourself motivated. If you find yourself struggling, I just say find someone who you really look up to, who you know is always motivated, always trying their best, and become their friend.
Wow, that's awesome. What's Isaac, what's one thing that you would like to leave with your fellow students as far as personal advice, some tactics that you're employing to avoid contracting this itis?
One thing I would for sure say to do is to keep learning. Doesn't matter where you are, what age you're at, but the way to build because like when you work out, you build your muscles, of course. The way your brain works out is when you continue to learn. And so just finding something to learn, finding something new that you haven't done before, I just think that that's a great way to escape the lack of motivation, to escape the lack of change in life. And I think it'll just help you to be a happier person.
Yeah, purposelessness is no fun. It can be fine to take a break. We all need that from time to time, but not having a purpose day in and day out is kind of miserable. So it's good to keep learning. It's good to apply that learning to a purpose, hopefully to help each other. Victor, what would you say is some of your parting thoughts on this beautiful broadcast? What would you like to leave with not only your fellow students, but maybe future generations to come? How would you help them avoid this phenomenon?
Yeah, I think it's good for people to do some self-reflection, to think about what you want to do in life and what you want to do in the future. And once you have that set in mind, you can start, setting habits that can help you reach that goal. And, most of the time, you're going to want to work hard for that goal. So I think if you have a set goal in mind, that should be quite an easy way to suppress that.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really good. So we've got to develop healthy habits, have desired goals, and ways to accomplish those goals, right? And we didn't really get into consequences, but that's pretty obvious, right? Do the math in your head, run your actions through, and see it from the end. What is this really going to get me if I do this thing? And do I really want to accept those consequences? Surround yourself with motivated peers. That's excellent. That's why I surround myself with y'all. So the big question I have to wrap this thing up, and thank you so much for making time to be on this broadcast for Slam Radio. My question for y'all is, do you currently have a case of senior-itis? Have you been battling this? Do I need to be concerned with possibly contracting senior-itis?
I gotta go bathe my saxophone.
Yeah, you see, I would answer that, but I gotta go walk my fish, sadly. So
I can't do this anymore. I'm out of here.
Walk your saxophone, bathe your fish. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I guess that's going to wrap it up. I've lost my crew. I'm going to have to go find them. That was unexpected. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Slam Antonio Radio, coming to you from Somerset Academy Collegiate. Special thanks to Victor, Isaac, and Lily for joining me today. I don't know where the heck they went, but they're obviously way too busy for me. Good on you, but I'd love to do this again. So everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us on Slam Radio. You are listening to Sirius XM, channel 145. Thank you.